Human behavior is not as logical or independent as we like to believe. Behind every decision, emotion, and reaction lies a complex system of psychological forces quietly shaping how we think and act. Some of the most disturbing truths about human nature were revealed not in theory, but through real psychology experiments. These experiments exposed how easily people obey authority, conform to groups, ignore obvious truths, and even harm others when placed in the right situation. They don't just explain the human mind, they expose its vulnerabilities. One of the most famous experiments is the Milgram Obedience Experiment. Ordinary people were instructed to administer electric shocks to another person simply because an authority figure told them to. Despite hearing screams of pain, many participants continued. The result was shocking. People are far more willing to obey authority than follow their moral compass. This experiment revealed that authority can override conscience, even in otherwise kind individuals. Another powerful study is the Stanford Prison Experiment, where participants were randomly assigned roles as guards or prisoners. Within days, guards became abusive and prisoners became submissive. No one forced them to behave this way. The situation itself transformed their personalities. This experiment demonstrated that power and environment can corrupt behavior faster than character can resist. Then there's the Asch Conformity Experiment, which showed how people abandon logic just to fit in. Participants knowingly gave wrong answers simply because everyone else in the group did. This revealed a harsh truth. The fear of social rejection is stronger than the desire to be right. The invisible gorilla experiment uncovered how limited our attention truly is. While focused on a task, people completely missed a person in a gorilla suit walking through the scene. This experiment proved that we don't see reality as it is. We see what our attention allows. Another disturbing study is the Bystander Effect, which explains why people fail to help in emergencies. When responsibility is shared among many, individuals feel less accountable. The more witnesses there are, the less likely anyone will act. This shows how group presence can weaken personal responsibility. The placebo effect demonstrated that belief alone can change physical outcomes. People experienced real healing simply because they believed they were being treated. This experiment proved that the mind has direct influence over the body. Finally, the marshmallow test revealed the power of delayed gratification. Children who resisted immediate rewards showed greater success later in life. This study highlighted that self-control is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. Together, these experiments reveal a difficult truth. Human behavior is highly predictable, programmable, and influenced by context. We like to think we are immune to manipulation, but psychology proves otherwise. Authority, social pressure, fear, attention, and belief shape our decisions more than logic ever does. Understanding these experiments doesn't make you cynical. It makes you aware, because once you understand how the mind is influenced, you gain the power to protect it. Number 1. The Milgram Obedience Experiment. Why people obey authority even when it hurts others. One of the most shocking psychology experiments ever conducted was the Milgram Obedience Experiment. Ordinary people were asked to administer electric shocks to another person whenever they answered questions incorrectly. The shocking part? Many participants continued delivering shocks, even when the person screamed in pain, simply because an authority figure instructed them to do so. Psychologists discovered that people will often follow orders, even against their own moral compass, when they believe the command comes from someone with authority. This experiment revealed a chilling truth about human nature. Obedience can override empathy, logic, and personal ethics. It wasn't just a study. It was a mirror showing that under certain circumstances, anyone could be manipulated to act against their conscience. The power of authority is subtle but incredibly dangerous, and it works even on ordinary, kind-hearted people. Remember, just because someone tells you it's right doesn't mean it is. Authority can make the ordinary do the extraordinary and the horrifying. Number 2. The Stanford Prison Experiment. How power changes personality. Another landmark experiment that revealed the dark side of human nature is the Stanford Prison Experiment. Psychologists randomly assigned participants to roles as guards or prisoners in a mock prison environment. What happened next was shocking. Within days, the guards became abusive, authoritarian, and cruel, while the prisoners became submissive, anxious, and obedient. This experiment demonstrated that power and environment can fundamentally alter behavior, even in ordinary, psychologically healthy individuals. People didn't become evil because they were inherently bad. The situation transformed them. When authority and control were placed in their hands, it brought out behaviors they didn't know they were capable of. The Stanford Prison Experiment is a stark reminder that context can be far more influential than character. It shows that anyone can be pushed toward cruelty or submission under the right pressures, and that social roles are powerful tools of influence and control. Remember, power doesn't just corrupt, it reveals hidden aspects of human nature that might otherwise remain dormant. Number 3. The Asch Conformity Experiment. Why people follow the crowd even when it's wrong. The Asch Conformity Experiment revealed just how easily humans can be influenced by social pressure. In this study, participants were asked to match the length of lines on a card. Simple, right? But the twist was that everyone else in the room, who were actually actors, deliberately gave the wrong answer. Astonishingly, many participants went along with the group, choosing the wrong line, even though they clearly knew it was incorrect. They did it simply to fit in, avoid embarrassment, or be accepted by the group. This experiment highlights a chilling aspect of human psychology. Our desire for social approval can override logic and personal perception. People often doubt their own senses and judgments just to conform, even when the truth is obvious. The Asch experiment proves that humans are not as independent as we like to think. Group pressure can subtly manipulate behavior, choices, and even beliefs. Remember, just because everyone else agrees doesn't mean it's right. Your perception and judgment matter more than conformity. Number 4. The Invisible Gorilla Experiment. How you miss what's right in front of you. AI voiceover ready. The Invisible Gorilla Experiment revealed just how limited human attention really is. Participants were asked to watch a video of people passing a basketball and count the number of passes made by one team. While they were focused on counting, a person in a gorilla suit walked slowly across the scene, pounding their chest and clearly visible. Astonishingly, many participants completely missed the gorilla. Their attention was so narrowly focused on the task that they failed to notice something obvious right in front of them. This experiment demonstrates the concept of inattentional blindness, the idea that our perception is not a perfect reflection of reality, but rather what our brain chooses to focus on. We see what we expect to see and ignore everything else, even when it's staring us in the face. The lesson is unsettling. Your mind can be blind to the obvious, not because it's incapable, but because attention is selective. Manipulators, distractions, and environmental cues can exploit this limitation to control what you notice, think, or believe. Remember, what you don't see can affect you just as much as what you do. Awareness is the first step to defending your perception. Number 5. The Bystander Effect. Why people fail to help in emergencies. The bystander effect is a chilling reminder of how human behavior can be shaped by social context. In real-life cases like the murder of Kitty Genovese, witnesses reportedly saw the attack but did not intervene. Psychologists later confirmed this pattern in controlled experiments. The more people present, the less likely any individual is to act. This happens because responsibility becomes diffused among the group. Each person assumes someone else will step in, and as a result, everyone does nothing. It's not a lack of morality. It's a psychological mechanism that overrides instinct. The bystander effect shows that humans are wired to follow the herd and avoid personal risk, even when someone's life is at stake. It demonstrates that social dynamics can suppress action, empathy, and moral responsibility, making ordinary people passive bystanders in critical situations. Remember, presence of others doesn't guarantee help. It can actually inhibit it. Awareness and initiative are essential to break the cycle. Number 6. The Placebo Effect. How your mind can heal your body. The placebo effect is one of the most fascinating demonstrations of the mind's power over the body. In medical experiments, patients were given a sugar pill or fake treatment but were told it was real medicine. Remarkably, many experienced real improvements in pain, mood, and even physical symptoms, purely because they believed they were being treated. Psychologists call this mind-body interaction. The brain interprets belief as reality, releasing chemicals and triggering responses that mimic the effects of actual treatment. In other words, what you expect to happen can become reality, even without physical intervention. This effect shows that human perception is not passive. It actively shapes your experiences. Our thoughts, expectations, and beliefs can influence biology, behavior, and emotional state. Manipulators and marketers alike exploit this principle when they create the illusion of results, trust, or scarcity to influence behavior. Remember, belief is a powerful force. Your mind is not just a witness. It is an active participant in shaping your reality. Number 7. The Marshmallow Test, Delayed Gratification and Future Success. The marshmallow test is a classic experiment that reveals the power of self-control and delayed gratification. In this study, children were offered a choice. They could eat one marshmallow immediately, or wait for 15 minutes and receive a second one as a reward. Researchers then followed the participants over years to study their life outcomes. The results were striking. Children who were able to wait, resisting the immediate temptation, tended to have better academic performance, higher SAT scores, healthier lifestyles, and greater success in adulthood. Their ability to delay gratification predicted long-term achievement far more than IQ or talent alone. Psychologically, the experiment highlights that self-control is not just about resisting candy, it's a fundamental skill for managing impulses, making strategic decisions, and planning for the future. It also shows that our early habits and learned patience can shape lifelong patterns of behavior. The marshmallow test reminds us that the human mind is capable of remarkable foresight and discipline, but it also exposes one of our most vulnerable points. Instant gratification is powerful, and those who exploit it can influence our choices. Remember, mastering your impulses today builds the foundation for your freedom, success, and emotional resilience tomorrow. These 7 psychology experiments, Milgram's Obedience Study, the Stanford Prison Experiment, the Asch Conformity Test, the Invisible Gorilla, the Bystander Effect, the Placebo Effect, and the Marshmallow Test reveal a sobering truth. Human behavior is far more predictable, malleable, and influenced than we like to believe. We like to think we are independent, rational, and in control of our decisions. But authority, social pressure, selective attention, belief, and impulse shape us more than we realize. These studies are not just scientific curiosities. They are mirrors reflecting the vulnerabilities of our mind and the hidden forces that guide our actions. The lesson is clear: awareness is power. Once you understand how these psychological mechanisms work, you gain the ability to recognize manipulation, protect your mind, and make conscious choices. You stop being a passive participant in your own life and start reclaiming control over your thoughts, decisions, and future. Remember, human nature is fascinating, but it's not infallible. The more you understand it, the more freedom you gain. Stay aware, stay conscious, and never underestimate the power of your own mind.